So here you see here what parameter is. Parameter is to, if I want if I want to use a value for a particular variable, I will be assigning that value as a parameter, right? So I want to give a value for pi as say some 3.14 something. So whenever I use pi, the value of 3.14 comes and calculates. Okay. Likewise, here in Verilog HDL, we are using the term called as parameter, and the name of the variable what I am using here is word size. It is of 16 in length. Okay, it is of 16, and a mem size. If I write a parameter, I can use multiple number of variables. I can assign multiple number of variables values there. Okay, so sometimes it can be not only like this. You see, okay. Sometimes it can be like this also. That means here the factor is equal to word size by 2. Here the word size here is 16. So 16 by 2, that is 8. Factor is taking a value of 8 here. Okay. So when you talk regarding can we change the value of this parameter anytime, we may have a doubt. So generally first you have to know what is a compiler time and runtime. Okay. Such parameter assignments are made at compiler time. Okay. The parameter values cannot be changed at runtime normally. When you want to run a program, you don't. It may not be possible to change, but we have an option. See, during the time of testing, we can write def parameter. During the time of testing, you can change the value of the parameter also. That can be done with the help of def parameter. Okay, defining parameter. That means okay. It can be changed at the runtime. Okay, when you are compiling, you can't change, but during the runtime, you can change. That means during the simulation time. Okay, you can redefine the parameter. So next, you see here memory. So what does this mean? I am writing uh, a register is it is having 16 bits, 15 down to 0, and how many rows it is having? It is having 512 rows, which is from 511 to 0. It's around 512 locations. You can see, you can clearly understand just this memory is just like our Excel sheet. You might have seen the Excel sheet. Okay, on the in the Excel sheet, if you see in the top most, you are able to see ABCD, right? ABCD starting from A to Z. Later it starts once again with A, and once again from A to A Z A, sorry, A B A C, like that, A to Z. In the similar fashion, we can go up to many number combination, right? On the left side, if you see what you will be seeing, you will be seeing the numbers. Okay, you'll be, on the left side you will be seeing the numbers. We call those as rows, and ABCs are called as location. Sorry, what you say, columns. Simply here you can understand you are taking from A to of 16. It is its length is of 16 bits. Here this is to mention you 15 down to 0 is to mention you the length of each address location, you can say, of that particular memory. Okay, it is of 16 bits. 15 down to 0 is of 16 bits. Just as in the Excel sheet as ABCDs. Okay, A B C D E F, like that, up to 16 rows. Sorry, 16 columns, and we will have 512 number. Okay, 0 to 512, sorry, 511. That is the just the rows. Likewise, we can form a memory like that. Okay, what here? Here it is declaring an array called memory with 512 locations. Each location is of 16 bits word. Okay. So sometimes we can also write this. We can write this is just for calling some value. Okay. I can call. So we are first creating a memory. In that memory, in particular location, I can go and store a value. Okay. uh, I can go and store in the row 5 10, and in the in that location I can store a 16-bit number. Okay, I can make operation on that data what is present in the location of 510. Do you get now? So in the memory I can store some values in specified locations, and that instead of using that number I can call with that number location, and I can make some operations on it, and again I can store that values what I get into the some other memory location. So here you see the index used to refer memory location can be a number. Simply I can call with the help of a range of 5 10, or an algebraic expression can also be used. Okay, mem of p minus q by 2. P is having some value, q is having some value, so it will be calculating and you will get some value. So here you see, after calculating p minus q by 2, here we are getting a value. One thing we have to remember, the number what we get here should be a integer, perfect integer, right? You can see that only will be specifying. I can't call as memory 3.2, right? How can I call it? It is I am having only memory 3 location. I don't have memory 3.2 location. Okay, do you get now? If this will be working only when if you get a perfect number only. Okay, perfect in the sense here, not 3.1 3.2 like this, just like real numbers. Real numbers means you will be omitting 0, so you should not omit 0, but total integer we can call like this. This will be helping in the concept of stack pointers, program counters, index registers there. So we just see what memory is. Memory is here we are creating a memory like this, giving reg space, in the square brackets we are giving 15 down to 0. That is to indicate that each one is of 16 bit, and the name we are giving here is for that particular memory is particular memory is 511. Okay, so we are forming 512 locations from 511 to 50. It is the most significant bit and this is the least significant bit, and each one of 16 bits. Okay, now we are seeing that we can also have another form of indicating it to call a particular location, memory location. Directly we can call with the number, integer number, or else with some other integers, sorry, some expressions. Now we go with the operators. Okay, we have different types of operators: unary operators, binary, and ternary operators also. Unary operator means we will be having a single operand. Okay, the unary operator is associated with a single operand. Okay, you can see generally we will be using for not of A. A is having some value, and we are using the symbol for noting that value. The operator precedes the operand. Here in the unary operator, operate. This is the operand. A is the operand. This symbol is the operator. Okay. Here operator precedes the operand in the unary. Okay. So you see here binary. Binary means we will be having two. The binary operator is associated with two operands. Okay. So binary is generally the operand will be in between the two operator will be between the two operands. Here you can see A and B are two operands, and is the and symbol is the operand here. Okay. So you can see here sometimes we may have three two operands and two op so three operands and two operators. A ternary operator is associated with three operands. Here A, B, C are the operands, and here question mark and the colon are the operands. That means there is a conditional, just like some conditional operators. These things we have already seen in the C language also. So for some for loop, for while loops, we will be using this type of concepts, right? Especially in the Verilog, we'll be using here. If A is okay, if A value is so and so, it could be, if not C, like this. Okay. Here two operators are separated by three. Sorry, two operators separate the three operands. Okay. You can understand. Unary operator will be having only one operand. That means only one symbol we are using here. Here also we are using only one symbol, but we have two operands. And is an operator. Here question mark and semicolon are the operators. So these things can be discussed in later also. So these things we do not have in our PPT, but you can see here what it is, which is very important. And we will conclude by the end of this topic. By that we will be concluding the total unit also. First unit is going to complete. Okay, if we discuss this system tasks. So what is the system task? Sometimes we require to interact with the system. Okay, sometimes we want to interact with the system. Those are called as system tasks. So how can we interact? We can interact with the help of the dollar symbol followed by some keyword. Okay. So first one is to display. This display is just like our scanf and printf in C language. Okay. You see here in the program itself, you are writing $display. $display in the brackets you are mentioning under double quotes. In the double quotes you are mentioning here the value of A is colon A is equal to whatever you write up to in this thing will be displayed. Okay, and you are mentioning that that value A of what type it is. You are mentioning this. It is of decimal type. Okay. Do you get now what it is now? It is being specified by percentage D. Okay. That is A is a decimal number. Okay. So the same thing what you write here under up to this, up to the comma what you write, that will be displayed here. You may write as you like. Okay, the value of A comma ram. If you write like that, it is it is just like a comment what you want to print. Okay, the value of A is, but we will be writing only the meaningful sentences in our programming. Okay, mostly we'll be writing only the meaningful sentences to understand by us. Okay, the thing what we have written there so far, it is printed here. It is displayed there, and after that we are giving a value of 3.5 there. Okay, sometimes after printing like this, in the program itself we can write star display, sorry, dollar display. That means we want to print some other thing in the new line. To get a new line, we are writing dollar display. This, we don't have any arguments. We call this as arguments. If you don't have any arguments, it is to have a new line. Okay, if you want to print something, the thing will be scanning and printing. Reading, what we say in the C language, we use scanf to read and printf to print. Instead of the both, we have a display command in the Verilog HDL. Here both things are done here, right? This is for reading and this is for printing, right? Okay. So this is to monitor. What is this monitor? So in the VHDL, you can see you use a process statement. In the process, in the brackets, you are mentioning A, comma B, comma C, comma D. If you write like that, that means what you want to say, if there is any change in of all these four on the four variables A, comma B, comma C, comma D, observe that change, and execute the program accordingly. Okay, what you have done in the VHDL is the same thing we are doing here. You want to monitor whether there are any changes for this or not. Okay, so that means you want to observe something continuously, and based on that, the output has to be varied. For that purpose, we are using this monitor. This is the same thing we are mentioning. Task monitor. The variable specified whenever any one of these have any changes, specific changes. See here. It seems to be similar to that of our display only, but it is going to monitor also. If at all any changes to any other variables, based on that it has to change the value and it has to print. Okay. Whenever the value of A changes during the execution of the program, its new value has to be printed according to the specified formats. Okay. Display is meant only for once. If you want to display only once, you are using display. But if you want to note that A may be varying, and in the future steps, the value of A will be varying continuously. When we write if A plus plus, that means A value is continuously varying, right? So every value has to be printed. So for that, we are writing monitor. If you want to print a value A as 3.4 and close there itself, we can go for that using display. We can, if you want to print all the values what are coming for A, we have to go for monitor, right? Right. At last we have only two statements. To control the simulation, we have two aspects. One is to finish. Finish means if you write dollar finish, it exists the simulation. Generally, we used to write at the end of the programs. That is, if you write dollar finish, it will be exiting the simulation. If you write dollar stop, it will be suspending the simulation for some particular amount of time. Okay, and you have a chance to come back once again. If you use stop, it will be temporarily suspending the simulation, and it will go and perform some operation, and it will be coming back once again. if 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 it encounters finish in that particular program, it will be returning back to this program, and it starts executing once again. Do you get now? So if I have a very big program, in that I am calling some other functions, okay, in some particular point of time, I will be suspending the simulation what is present here, and I have to go for some other module, and I have to execute there some statements, and I will be getting some results. After encountering finish in that particular module only, it will be returning back. Okay, that is called as stop. Okay, if you use simply finish, then it will be stop simulation. Okay, we have some exercises. We have to go through it. Okay, so they are given directly the programs. In the future classes, we will be seeing what is it is. By that, we have concluded the first unit. Okay, the second unit is regarding the gate modeling. That thing we will be discussing in the next class. Okay, see you in the next class.